Feeling inspired by hosts Ron and Tyler? This episode of the MovieBuffs Podcast is brought to you by the YouTube workout channel Time to Train Fitness. With all things YouTube, it's free. Jump into a bar class, crank out a cycling workout, or pump out a strength session. Everything you need to work out for free at home. Check out the description and subscribe today.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the MovieBuffs Podcast, the strongest podcast in the world about movies, and the only podcast currently taking place over 150 feet outside of Tom Cruise's moving helicopter. Tyler's hanging on for dear life. I'm at the pilot seat, checking out the views. How's it going today, Tyler?
It's going pretty good. I like your intro. It's new.
Yeah, it's new. Well, I just want to describe to everybody what's going on. So if you notice I'm talking like this, it's because of the sound of the chopper.
I guess we're all just getting excited for the new Mission Impossible. I mean, we had all that promo stuff coming out. Never too early. And Tom Cruise, just the biggest star in the world.
Tallest.
Makes me feel tall.
So how's it going today, Tyler? What we got for today's episode?
Well, let's kick it off with our warm-up. As always, want to warm up those muscles. Since, technically we both do work in the fitness industry, got to warm it up, got to feel juiced, got to feel good about what we got going on. And we're kicking it off with one of your favorites. Actually, I know it's not one of your favorites, but some of our listeners are Harry Potter fans. So it is not out of the blue to throw in a little Harry Potter news. There's talks now about going back to the HP well, the Harry Potter well, and rebooting the series. Now, if you think back to it, I don't even think you've watched any of them. I don't know you if you have.
I've seen like the first 3 or 4, and I've read the first 4 books.
With the Harry Potter well of movies,
Harry Potter well, he says.
I could think they had probably like 5-6 directors, and it wasn't till later on that they finally settled on a tone for them. Now, moving forward, a lot of shakeups, Discovery, purchasing, Warner Brothers. Do you think it is wise of them to reboot the series and go back to this all these books that they have the material for them, they have the characters relatively still in our minds? Do you think they should do this?
I don't think so. From what I've heard, based on they didn't do a very good job with their Fantastic Beasts series, and they do have the Cursed Child play that can be. It's about the time where the actors are old enough to just bump right into it anyway. Wait on it, do that. Hopefully, What's Her Nuts stops being terrible and hopefully she shuts up long enough for people to forget that she's involved and they just move on and make the next one and make it good. I think that's the most important thing. If I worked for Warner Brothers Discovery at this point, make it good. Whatever they're doing next, make it good, because they've done a lot of shakeups. So we talked about recently, and they got people on the edge. They don't know what to expect from them. So the best way to fix some of these issues is just make something good.
Yeah. I mean, they could take a page out of Star Wars and literally just find a character that everybody likes and make a spin-off series. Boom, solved it right there. And you make fans
a Snape
happy.
Prequel series. What the hell is that little goth guy up to?
That's a good one right there. Popular character.
One of the episodes can be him straightening his hair. When he discovered that it looks better when he dyes it black and he straightens it.
Yeah, and that's a good segue here to question number 2 for our warm-up with Warner Brothers Discovery. CEO stating that no more HBO content is going to be getting the axe. So a lot of stuff, a lot of DC stuff got the axe, a lot of shakeups with DC. We're talking about Harry Potter already. I know the Game of Thrones had a lot of shakeups, some content getting the axe, more in the realm of they had a huge list. I know that you've made jokes in this podcast about the millions of dollars that they threw at a what do you call that?
The pilot.
The pilot, yep. They
for a spinoff that they just didn't put out.
Literally just tossed it in the trash after millions. But
that should have been our warning sign. Some of the stuff was going to happen, because it's crazy to throw. When you think about it, how much money you waste on some of these things just to be like, that wasn't any good. You should make sure it's good before you start paying millions of dollars, because that money could definitely house people that have to live on the streets, or feed people that don't have food.
There is this thing called YouTube that you could always just throw stuff up on, but
Yeah, at least put it out. Yeah, put it out there with no publishing costs and just get some ad revenue or something.
Literally, they could put it out there and just say, "Hey, we want you to watch this. It's going to cost you 99 cents." How many people would purchase it just to watch that? I'm just,
right. I would watch it out of morbid curiosity. Like, why did they hate it? Like, why was it not good enough?
See, all good ideas right there. But anyways, what series or movie were you most bummed about getting the axe?
I can't think of anything in particular. It was really kind of disheartening to know that for some of the creators. Oh, here's one. There was a show called Final Space. I'd only seen a few episodes of
Final Space.
Yeah, but it was an animated comedy about outer space. I only saw a few episodes. I really liked what I saw. It's one of those things you see it. I was like on vacation and it was on, and I never got back around to it. But so they did like 4 seasons that were all on this platform, whatever. And in order, to get the tax incentives, they had to wipe it from the platform. Well, because the show was only like 4 years old, there was no physical media of it. So now the only like record of all these people's hard work, like the animators, the actors, the creators, the person who wrote this, whatever, the only record of it is if you find clips of it on YouTube. Other than that, the show doesn't exist anymore. And to me, that's so heartbreaking. Could you imagine that? Like, it's your big break. You get like your project made. It's like means so much to you. People like it. You get a few years in and then somebody goes, they Thanos it away. That's the big bummer. Just thinking about all the people for whom that happened, You
could. Well, I'm actually surprised you didn't say anything about DC. We've made a lot of jokes about DC over the years in our podcast. And
maybe you have. I've never done that.
I know. And with the big shakeup, we talked about making an episode for it. We'll see, because I think we don't want to get any hate mail. We don't want any Snyder Bros to track us down, put a billboard right outside of our house. That's me personally, but
they'll put one outside of your house because I've never said anything ever about anything.
So, okay. Interesting enough. I've actually thought about this. If I had billions of dollars, I would go buy up all the series that got canceled that I like and create maybe an app called Second Chance. There is what episode did we do when we talked about like series that we wish would come back? And I talked about that one that had Keith Urban in it. And I have to think about
like Almost Human or something like that.
Hey, there it is. You remembered it. I did
it. Check out that episode. Tyler will link it in the description below.
Well, moving on here. And keeping with talking about streaming services and all the stuff going on, there's new content arriving on Amazon Prime. Woo-hoo! Now, before we hit the record button, talked a little bit about one of the shows that I just finished, Jack Ryan, that's on Amazon Prime. And they've shown that they have the money, they have the ability to buy directors, buy all the people needed to make series, but I would say they're probably like 50-50 on like if a show's going to be good on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. They have some good ones that I like. I like Jack Ryan. I like Hunters.
Jack Reacher. I love that show, dude. Tyler's wrong.
I feel like I'm the only one that didn't like it. I know that there's some listeners that liked it too. I just wasn't a fan of it.
Tyler just doesn't know what it's like to be the best.
Yeah, whatever. But with Amazon Prime, and think about Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Mm-hmm. What has been your feedback so far? Do you think that Amazon Studios, that they're making good content, keep on it? What do you think they're missing?
I think Amazon Studios is making amazing content, and I think they have some amazing content and some great movies coming out for later this year.
You want to give your disclaimer now? You should just do it now if that's what you're trying to hint at.
There's no disclaimer. I happen to be in one of those movies that's coming out through Amazon Studios. And just because I'm a former employee and I'm very proud of that movie that is premiering this coming week at Sundance, doesn't mean I'm biased, but I think Amazon is doing a great job.
Well, I'm not employed by or been on anything that's been on Amazon Prime. So I will say that
they have a better track record than most networks. Yeah, you're right. They're doing a great job.
Fine, we'll move on. Avatar 2 is now the 7th highest grossing movie of all time.
So how many times did your stepdad see this movie?
It's a good question. I saw it. I honestly don't know if you saw it.
No.
I did see it, and I was blown away. I did an instant reaction episode about it, and I talked about betting against James Cameron is never the right thing to do. It was pretty good. And with it now being the 7th highest grossing movie of all time, do you think that they will make the 4th and the 5th? Third's already been made. They already filmed the majority.
I thought you were going to ask that. I'm like, you're so stupid. You know what? I'm happy people, whenever anything comes out that people like, I'm happy for them. I'm glad you like it. Obviously, no one's getting hurt. It's great. All fun and joy. But who is seeing it this many times? I know. I've actually, we talked about this a while ago, that I only knew one guy who ever liked it, and it was your stepdad. And since then, I've met like 3 or 4 more people. Of those 3 or 4 more people, none of them have gone to see it. So I'm like, people that I know that were like, I love that movie. It was like my favorite movie of all time, the first one. Haven't seen it yet, but somehow it's made $50 billion. It's an honest question because like it's crazy.
I got a theory for you, and I'm going to say this theory.
Don't say it.
I don't mean to offend anybody in the Midwest, in the Bible Belt. I have family that lives in that area, that region.
Tyler actually wears a Bible Belt. It's King James.
There we go.
Yeah.
Everybody, I will say
Ephesians
that
written on the outside of it.
people in this region, they love blue shit. They eat up blue shit.
So you're telling me red states love blue things?
You can make that correlation if you want.
I didn't. You did.
But the times that I've seen the Blue Man Group, that I wonder who sees Blue Man Group. But I will tell you, each time that I've seen it twice, that theater is packed. It is packed with people. And
the only thing more packed in that theater is the front of Tyler's jeans after he gets done watching the Blue Man Group. He gets excited. Anyway, you're right. Don't bet against Jim Cameron.
Oh, you're Jim. You guys are on that term now.
No, well, I mean, come on.
Okay, let's now go to some little bit more forecasting here. One of our favorite things to do. Next thing with the warm up has to do with the Fantastic Four.
Ooh.
Rumor mill says that Adam Driver is reportedly the top choice to play Reed Richards. Ooh. If this is the case, who are you building the rest of the cast with?
Oh, that's interesting. I got to say, just up top here, I'm really pissed that on our docket of things, this Fantastic Four rumor is number 5. That's stupid.
I got to make sure I have to make sure.
You should have reordered that.
I give some stuff that you like, that I like. We got to go back and forth there.
We should have reordered that and had this number 4. I don't know. I got to say, I feel like the Fantastic Four has been done twice now with, let's say, mixed results. I really think that though they've been around a very long time, I don't know anybody for whom this is their favorite characters or whatever. I think the MCU, they've already shown that there's going to be a multiverse of them anyway. Let's do some weird casting, just go nuts with it. That's what I want to see. I want to see them go nuts with the casting.
So let me hear some guesses. Who would you put it as the Human Torch?
I'd have Isla Fisher play the Human Torch because she's in her 40s and obviously she's a female. For the Thing, I'd have Thing from Wednesday, the Hand, turn him into rocks. And for Sue Storm, I'd have somebody who does the weather on KTLA 5 because of the storm.
I have to say that whenever I share the podcast, the thing that I say is, you'll like my co-host. He's an interesting character.
Thank you.
And I feel like that little segment right there, that's a great description of Ronald right there.
Thank you.
You ask him a serious question on who you'd build a cast out with, since we're talking about movies, and he'll give you an answer like that. That is 100% Ronald right there.
Okay, how about this? I'll play Johnny Storm and I'll do the voice for the Thing. And then Sue Storm, let's have Isla Fisher do that, even though she's probably a little bit on the older side for as far as the character's age would need to be. But let's do that.
Right on cue.
I'll play 2 of 4.
Ronald doubles down on it. That's 100% right in his wheelhouse.
Whatever, dude. What's next?
Okay. Your favorite thing or I'll say a movie that you're excited about that I have no idea about. I didn't even read the article for it.
Ay, Dios mío.
I saw an article on MovieWeb about how James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Universe will benefit from the inclusion of Blue Beetle. You did a breakdown of Blue Beetle. I can't even tell you how many episodes ago. I can't even remember what you said in it. I didn't read the article, like I said. And so since I didn't do any of those things, how could you see this playing out? How could you see the inclusion of Blue Beetle playing out?
Well, for a long time now, I think DC has really hoped to have Blue Beetle kind of be their Spider-Man type character because of his age. You know, he can be a little more relatable. And then because of him, he gets to be the first ever Mexican American or even Latino in any way superhero to lead their own film. So there's a big opportunity there to find this new fan base. And I can't remember, I think it's UCLA. They run these like inclusivity surveys, but it's not like they're asking people, like they survey like the media that comes out, and they release their information at the end of every year. And I think it was the year before last that like 35% of all ticket sales in the United States were from the Latino market. So we buy more tickets to movies than any other group of people in the United States. So if they play their cards right and they market this right, and it has to be good, knock on wood, hopefully it will be, they're poised to make this character kind of explode. Because as we know, people who don't watch or don't read comics, don't care about comics, will go see a comic book movie if it looks cool or if there's anything they recognize in it. So I think they are banking on hopefully hitting this untapped market. And then because the character played by Xolo Maridueña from Cobra Kai, right? Super beloved show, like has a big fan base. It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. I mean, like 3 people have Netflix, but everybody has a password to Netflix. So like it's a bankable person who is pretty well known. He's in everybody's house if you want to be, right? So it's kind of like built-in marketing, and they have this giant fan base. Hopefully they can tap into. So I think their hope would be that it can turn into this kind of Spider-Man-like character for them, where he's young enough that this kid's like 22 years old. They could literally have him do this for when Hugh Jackman's going to be 57 when the next Deadpool comes out. So if you play this right, he could be a character that goes for the next 4 decades of storytelling. All you have to do is just line it up and kind of let it happen. And the other thing is I'm pretty sure this movie's kind of set up to be pretty self-contained, so it doesn't have to like be reset with the rest of the universe. So it's like, it's a spot that they could be like, all right, we can kind of, again, emulate the Marvel strategy of let's take some lesser known characters and use them to tell, because with the lesser known characters, you have the room to tell different stories. You know, like Batman has to do this, this, and this to be Batman. Superman has to be certain parameters. But like you said, you love comic books, you love comic book movies, superhero stuff. You don't know shit about Blue Beetle. So if they were to change everything about him, but the movie was good, who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, Iron Man isn't huge now. Almost nothing in that Iron Man 1 movie. One, there was no script when they shot it, which is just amazing to me. They gave him $160 million and didn't ask for a script. But almost like 90% of the like content of the characterization, like the events, like none of that is based on anything from his comic books. It's kind of like an amalgamation of cool stuff from over the years. But because it was basically an unknown character, they made a good movie, they made it cool, and everyone's like, that's who that is now. So I think that's what they're going for there. I actually, like when I heard they're making this movie just as a writing exercise, wrote up a pitch for how I would do it. And it was fun. And hopefully they do something along those lines. But because of Blue Beetle, again, being an unpowered individual who finds a suit from outer space, you can incorporate the extraterrestrial elements like Green Lanterns, and there are other Beetle characters. Like you can incorporate a lot of stuff with this one character because of the nature of his powers. And going on for a second here. Sorry, everybody. But you get a history lesson on Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is a legacy character. So there is basically a Batman knockoff guy named Ted Kord, who was the Blue Beetle first. So you can have like the vigilante aspect play into this. Maybe Ted Kord can be in this movie and play like a mentor who's like a Batman style person. So you open up the window to like this new vigilante small scale world that's been there. Like you can just establish that with a couple of scenes. And because the nature of the Beetle itself, or the Scarab it's called, you can also tap into all the alien worlds, and then he has to fight probably an alien threat. So you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
A lot of that made sense. And
and that's high praise.
A lot of that made sense. And I mean, we can hope. The jokes that we've made in the podcast about DC, that they just don't write good scripts. They fumble a lot of easy touchdowns. So, I mean, I can't see this whole shakeup being a bad thing. I know that there's a lot of hate out there right now for James Gunn and already, fire him. Literally nothing has happened. We did have
everything he's made for DC has been good so far.
Yeah, everything's been good. I really literally cannot understand how people could be mad. Yes, was it upsetting with Henry Cavill? Of course it was, but we literally never got a Superman 2. I've been waiting for Superman 2.
It's been 10 years.
And literally, just look at everything that happened from Superman to, Superman 2 is coming. Oh, no, we're going to go with Batman versus Superman. And just completely ruin everything. So the fact that we will have some type of connected universe, things will make sense. We'll have good scripts. We'll have things that are shot well that make, people want to come and watch it. I don't understand how this would be bad. So we can just keep hoping for the best.
Yeah, I think the hard reset was kind of the only way to fix all of the problems without sacrificing the future. Yeah. Because if not, then every movie for the next 3 years would have to be explaining why this didn't happen and that didn't happen. And then by 2027, we can finally make a movie moving forward. It's no, it sucks. I mean, but sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone. They had to pave paradise to put up this parking lot.
We talked about it with Aquaman, this seems about like the route to go. Just self-contain it, just make a good movie, just make it be fun, have good acting, and it's a path. It's something. And the fact that was their model for how long ago was that? What was that? 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and now we're still kind of in that mess. Things are loosely related. And a hard reset kind of just gets things hopefully going in a good route. And, I've heard rumors of, Henry Cavill could come back in some capacity in the future. But just right now they're going in a different direction. And I will gladly go watch. And if Twitter is correct that they're going to boycott it, then maybe I'll just be the only one in the theater watching the new Superman, which is fine. I'll go watch it, and I'm gonna have nobody coughing on me. I'll be stoked with that, but I'll gladly go see it.
Yeah, same here. It's funny too that people were pointing out the fan bases are so powerful and they really didn't want this to happen. But it's not showing up in the box office returns, which is the other thing that you can't get that mad at DC for changing it. Because if people really did love it to that extent where they're going out and seeing it in droves, if it was making $2.4 billion in 3 weeks, they're not rebooting shit. You're going to get exactly the same, everything you asked for every time. But it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's our warm up. I'm feeling pretty warm before we get to our main set. And with this being the first podcast episode of 2023, we're going to do something new. As you've seen, Ronald has many theories, many thoughts about the future, and we're going to tap into Ronald's magical powers right here. He's going to get out his orb of Trujillo, and he's going to basically come up with some predictions of the future here. Ronald, I gave you a task, and as you've seen, listeners have seen in past episodes, if I give Ronald parameters of a request of please give 3, he's maybe going to give quite a few more. But Ronald, I would like to hear 3 predictions for 2023 on either movies, series, or a combination of them, since sometimes we have a series that tap into movies. What is your predictions?
Okay, so my prediction for movies, and this one is going to be, it's pretty prescient. It's pretty of the moment as well. Austin Butler just won the Golden Globe for Best Male Performance in a Drama for Elvis. And people are pointing out that he's still doing the Elvis voice. He's from Anaheim, California. He does not have a Southern drawl. So my prediction for movies is he loves doing this goddamn Elvis voice so much. He's going to do a movie called Elvis 2 Electric Boogaloo, which follows Elvis through purgatory, hell, heaven, and back to earth, where he meets the son of Maximus Decimus Aurelius. And they join forces for Gladiator 2, which just got announced as well. So that's my big movie prediction, is the crossover universe between Elvis and Gladiator.
Interesting. Very interesting. I did see that he was on a round table. Mine is kind of serious. Mine's real, not make believe, but I saw he was on a round table with like some actual actors, and I was like, what the hell is this guy doing in there? But
my wife said the same thing. I'm sure I obviously I know that everybody worked really hard on that movie. Kudos to them. But no one I know who watched the movie besides my grandmothers, who I love them both very dearly, but they're in their 80s. Said that was a good movie. Everyone was like, hey, it was fine. It was just like, it was a musical biopic, which they're all, I think we talked about this before. It's that genre that I hope stops. But it's like, is that all you have to do now to get an award? Unless you're playing Whitney Houston, because nobody saw that movie for some reason. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's really bad, but I just don't know why. Usually even the bad ones get seen. Yeah. But it's just like, is that all you have to do to get an award? It's just, and then you have to talk about how much this person meant to you, which, okay, come on, dude. That kid's like 26 years old. He was not a giant Elvis fan before he got cast. That's cap.
Yep. Next one here for you. What is your prediction for a series?
Okay. So hear me out. It's going to be a Maury style family, like intervening show where people come on with problems or whatever, but it's going to be hosted by Nick Cannon, and the whole show is going to be him getting introduced to his children. They're going to come out and they're going to be like, I don't know my dad. And he's like, I am your father. And he's going to reveal that not only does he have these 12 children, he's got another 46. And the mothers knew about it, but they were hiding the identity of the father for the content, so he could do a surprise reveal on television. It's awesome. Another thing I like to point out about Nick Cannon, he's got these 12 children from like 4 or 5 different women, and I mean this with all due respect. Every single one of them, all fire. What's going on here? This guy is killing it. I don't know what kind of deal he's got with MTV that he can afford to have this many children, but keep doing your thing, Nick Cannon.
I guess so. That prediction could legit happen.
It might.
First one, not so much this one. I could legit see this happening.
I stand behind both. So.
Now, last prediction here, combo time with series, movies, blending into each other, mostly with comic book movies, action movies, series, whatnot. What is your prediction for a series movie? So, good example would be how Star Wars blends their movies and series together now, and they play out in between each other. What's your prediction?
My prediction, and this actually is a serious one, which I shouldn't say. I could just start talking. Let's try it again. My prediction is that the Penguin series will get up and running and maybe premiere before the end of the year. Let's just say it does. And it's going to be fantastic. People are going to be like, oh yeah, they keep giving those like weird indie dramas to Colin Farrell that are very well acclaimed, but aren't super well watched. And they're going to see him in this. You're like, wow, this guy's fucking killing it. And it's going to expand out this Batman universe. And everyone's going to be super excited for the Batman 2, which Matt Reeves talked about today. He's very deep into the writing process, almost done on. So that's my prediction on that.
Little too serious compared to the rest of the things that you said in this episode.
Thanks, man.
But I'm glad that you take one of the things that I mentioned in this episode.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. A quick promo break here in this episode. If you've been a fan of our podcast, you've probably already heard me, Tyler, one of your hosts, talk about the Naboso insoles. If you are ever wondering about, what are insoles? How do they help my feet? Are they really useful? I got to tell you that I've been wearing these Duo insoles for probably a year and a half now, and I think they're game changers. If you sit at a desk, if you are on your feet, so basically anybody in the world, they can really help with your health. If you ever have foot pain or if you have any type of issues with your feet, these can be a game changer for you. Hopefully you take my word on it. You head to the link in the description, you buy yourself a pair, and you come back and you share it that, I actually bought those insoles and they actually do work. that'd be something that we'd love to hear, love to see, because that means that you're working on your health. That's it for the promo break. Let's get back to the episode and keep hearing about all the random things that Ron has to say. Getting to our main set, Ronald.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a first here. Main set, finished our warm-up, finished our prediction time.
Hey, what would you do if I deleted everything on here? Just real quick, would you still remember it?
Yeah, because I have 2 different papers.
Now, okay.
With our main set, this is a first. Not only did Ronald provide this topic, but my guess is that Ronald will also give some legit answers since he provided these topics. That is a first there.
Maybe, yeah. I have one. I'm reading this list that I provided right now, and I'm like, whoa, because there's... Okay, go on. I can't even talk about it yet. I gotta get to
it. So we're going to start with the most anticipated returning series. So that's the clarification we got to make here before I read off these top 10. So these were provided by IMDB, and they are returning series. So I'm going to start with number 10 here. The Watcher, The Blacklist, Doctor Who, The Mandalorian, American Horror Story, Only Murders in the Building, The Witcher, Peacemaker, Umbrella Academy, and The Boys. So returning series of 2023.
One thing I got to say I like about these lists is that I sent them to you from IMDb, but they're voted on by IMDb users. So this is not like 2 critics who live in Bel Air that can ice skate on the fucking roller rink in the middle of their house, just voting on whatever thing they think is good. It's people that actually watch things, for the most part, probably civilians who actually like movies enough to go on and vote about them. So that's what I like about the list. It's not like, the fuck is this? What is that?
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's actually very nice of you to say.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Good job.
I guess. So what are we going with?
What are your top 3 out of those?
Top 3 in no particular order would have to be Peacemaker and The Boys.
That's 2. Okay.
Yeah. Those are my top 2 I'm looking forward to most. The Umbrella Academy, I've seen season 1.
You actually did watch it? I've been literally telling you about this.
I've seen season 1 as it came out, and I liked it a lot. And then season 2, I got started on it. And then I heard them talking about it's going to be a limited series. Like, that's the plan. So I was like, well, I'll just wait, because I always get really pissed off when someone's like, oh, this show is so good, but the ending sucked. So I'm like, I'll just wait and make sure, because I've heard from people that really like the source material too, that it's good. It stays good. It zigs and stuff and takes in interesting ways. But I'm like, wait till they stick the landing and I can watch it all together to kind of get the comprehensive feel. That is just an aside here. That is a downside of the just sheer volume of great content that comes out in like our modern streaming age, is that, a show like Umbrella Academy will drop over one weekend on Netflix, right? Watch the whole thing, or maybe over a week or 2. But then there's a year and a half till the next one comes out, and you've done that with another, say, 40 shows.
Yeah.
And by the time I come back around, I'm always like, what the fuck happened? So I feel like I have to rewatch it to enjoy the next season anyway. So I'm like, I'll take that middleman out, and I'll purposely not watch it until it's time.
Now, so you touch on something that sparked something in my mind with the Umbrella Academy, that the lead singer from My Chemical Romance, I
Gerard Way.
Yep, I think you might know this already, that he wrote, did he write it?
Uh-huh.
That he wrote the Umbrella Academy. So very talented gentleman, that he's a part of the the series on Netflix. And so I think that helps out with keeping some type of I can't even speak today. Some type of relevance.
Contiguous.
with the series. So interesting little thought right there. But I will say my top 3.
The only little thought right here is you. Woo! THOT.
I watch more of these than Ronald. So, because I don't think Ronald has seen The Mandalorian.
I've seen season 1 and 2.
I can't tell. Despite how much I talk with Ron, I can't say if he watches The Witcher. I watched The Witcher.
I've seen all of season 1. But now that Henry Cavill's out, it's like,
so you're not gonna. There's obviously a new season coming up that
yeah,
that he's in.
Yeah, I'll finish once he's gone. I'll watch the second and third season.
I will put my top three in order, in descending order: The Witcher, Peacemaker, and The Boys. It was hard to leave out the Umbrella Academy. My wife would probably put the Umbrella Academy in there. Mandalorian is hard for me to leave out. I don't watch Doctor Who. I don't watch The Blacklist. I don't even know what The Watcher is. I've never seen American Horror Story, and I don't watch Only Murders in the Building. So that's my list. But any surprises for you in this top 10?
Yes, the fact that The Blacklist is still on TV. I shit you not. When I saw this, I was like, "What the actual fuck?" My wife and I. Yes, we started watching this when we first moved over to Thousand Oaks area, like in 2015, and we binged watched season 1 and 2 on Netflix at the time. I was like, and then they kept doing it, and I was like, okay, I quit. There's just too many seasons. There's one of those shows where there's 24 episodes a season. And so for it to still be on all these years later, it's got to be on like season 10. How long is the fucking list?
The guy that voiced
James
Ultron,
Spader.
He's in it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even finish that. How did you know I was going to say that?
Because that's who's in this show. Jimmy Spader. Yeah, that's a big surprise for me. The Watcher is one of those shows that's just frustrating. Well, Get Out. It's about those people that move into the house. It's Bobby Cannavale and I forget who plays the mom. But they moved in this house, and then people keep breaking into their houses and threatening them. And they don't know who it is. And spoiler alert, it's an annoying show. But every neighbor like shows up and is like the worst interaction you've ever had in your life. So it's like it could be any of them. And at the end, it reveals that they never reveal who it was. Mm-hmm. It's supposedly a true story. They need to do it off the Watchers that are over in San Bernardino, that if you pull up to their house and sit out in front, they're always like looking out and they chase after you with bats. I don't know why people thought that was like oh, it's so weird they come after you. It's like, yeah, you keep pulling up to their house and just looking at them. Anyway, it was a very frustrating show. I hate shows where everyone's just the worst and annoying. A surprise. Like Yellowstone. Yeah, see, that's just a soap opera, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's so good. I'm like, it's a soap opera. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you like it, that's awesome. But acknowledge what it is. It's all pulpy and it's silly. I mean, but everything I like is silly too, but I don't pretend it's not. A surprise that I think. Oh no, sorry for the next one. Mission forward. Go ahead.
There you go. Yeah, you got to wait there. Be patient. I will say that my surprise was Only Murders in the Building. Despite how many people that I know that watch it, I didn't think that many people watch it. But I feel like, for me personally, do I like the actors in it? Yes, I think it's who's the actress in it?
Selena Gomez.
Yeah. Oh yeah, her. I don't like her, so I don't watch it.
She's friends with your friend. What's his name?
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah.
Never watched that series.
You never watched his episode?
Nope.
What a dick.
I know. The only thing that I'll watch with him in it is, I know he's not going to listen to this, so I'll say it. But the only things that I'll watch with him in it is Beat Bobby Flay, because I like Bobby Flay. I've watched like every season of Bobby Flay, especially the 2 episodes that Jordan lost in.
Wow, way to support your friends, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Tyler also doesn't even like any of my Instagram posts, so
I like all right.
He doesn't like, subscribe, or comment.
I'm like the only
which all of you should do right now. So if you're liking this, go ahead and like it, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this with a friend. Let them know this is your favorite podcast and probably the strongest podcast in the world about movies.
I know that maybe it's changed by now. Maybe there's 2 views, but that 1 view that you had on that video that you released on YouTube, that's me. So you saying that I don't like any of your stuff, that's me who watched it. I did.
Woo!
Take that. Anyways, honorable mentions that were left out of this list.
It's not a show I love, but I've accidentally been swindled into seeing a bunch of it. White Lotus. I'm surprised people aren't more excited for that, because I know people love that show.
Watch. Yeah,
all the characters are just, because it's one of those shows where they do the Alfred Hitchcock thing where they tell you something bad's going to happen, so that way the whole show you're like, who's going to be the person that dies? Mm-hmm. And by the end of the first episode, you're like, I hope it's all of them. All of these characters annoy me to no end, and they're all fucking stupid. And it gets the reaction you want because you're invested in their lives. Again, it's kind of like a soap opera, because the cast is usually a big ensemble, so you'll get like 3 minutes of everybody's story, and then episode's over, so everybody gets like 3 minutes of progression to a cliffhanger. So it leaves you wanting more, but all of them are super annoying. And you're like, dude, if they could just kill, like maybe they all they drive in buses and their buses hit head on and all of them die. But spoiler, it never happened.
In the last week, I think it was over the weekend, we were watching, we just finished watching a movie on HBO Max. We're like, okay, what do I want to watch? And just threw on the preview for it, the trailer for it, because we got good friends that watch it. That, you got to watch it. Season 2 is better. And we just watched the trailer, and I can't tell you what it's about. I watch and I'm just like, what makes me want to watch any of this one? What that actress that's in it, that's from Euphoria. It's not like she's taking off her shirt in it or anything like that. Why would I watch this? So I mean,
she's only in the first season.
Why would I know that? Why would I care?
Because it's a whole different cast. The only person who carries over is Jennifer Coolidge, Stifler's mom.
Well, anyways, my honorable mentions, I had to do a little bit of research on this, and surprising enough, I didn't do any research on the other ones on here.
Wow.
Ted Lasso. I thought that was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
I like Ted Lasso. Apple TV. I was just going through the list here. I don't watch anything on CBS, so I could care less. I don't watch anything on CW. Loki season 2. Loki is probably, I think, both of ours.
Oh yeah.
Can I say that and be honest that it's probably both of our favorite series so far?
Disney Plus Marvel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Because the only thing that comes close for me would be Werewolf by Night, but I actually like Werewolf by Night better, but it's not a show. It was, that 50-minute presentation. Everything else, I feel like Loki was the one, I think we both talked about this. It was the one that, because it takes place kind of outside of the continuity, you really felt like things happened and changed. Whereas all the other ones were kind of like a big reset, and after 9 hours, they have a new costume. And that's the only difference.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't care for WandaVision. That's probably my least favorite series. And I know that a lot of people did like it. What If? I just couldn't stay. Not because it's
like
animated.
Animation, though.
Yeah.
You don't.
Probably. Yeah.
I liked What If. That was fun. But I feel like that doesn't really count because it's not attached to anything. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel, I don't know if everybody saw, Jeremy Renner was in critical condition last week. So thankfully, by all accounts, he's doing better. For the Ren Man.
Some surprises here, not to change the tone. What We Do in the Shadows. I'm a big fan of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh.
I think it's funny, and it's just something good to pop on. It makes you feel good. Here's a one that a lot of people liked, and I just think it's whatever. The Bear.
Didn't watch it.
I didn't know that they're making a season 2. I thought that they just over dramatized working in a restaurant. Yes, do you feel the intensity of it? Okay, yeah. But I think more people just liked it for the actor that's from Shameless in it. That's just my opinion on it. But
his name was Chet Shameless.
they're making a season. I didn't know they're making season 2. Nice. That comes out next year.
I gotta say, It's Only Sunny in Philadelphia, season 16. I'm looking forward to. Reservation Dogs, season 3. I'm looking forward to. And I think the last season of Atlanta, I don't know if it's the one that just came out or it's the one that's about to come out, but those ones I'm looking forward to, all of which I'm behind on besides Sunny, but I watch too much YouTube.
More surprises. And I know that I'm in the minority on this I'm not the biggest fan of Barry. I think you're a big fan of Barry.
I am behind on that as well.
Euphoria. I'm not as trendy as the people that do like Euphoria.
You see the lights behind me, how they're purple? I am Euphoria. I am Euphoria.
You got it. You said White Lotus. I mean, other than that, House of Dragon season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Those are some surprises left out. Well,
oh, yeah.
A lot of stuff coming out this year, to look forward to. A lot of good streaming and a lot of stuff that we will be doing podcast episodes on. So make sure you keep the lookout for that, for those. Moving on here. Most anticipated movies. Ooh. I think there's a lot of surprises on this one. I'm just going to read the list and then we'll get into it and we'll dissect it a little bit more. Number 10, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Getting pretty excited for that one. The Expendables 4. This is not a video episode, so you can't see me shaking my head. John Wick Chapter 4. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the Super Mario Brothers movie, The Little Mermaid, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Barbie.
I'm definitely going to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey because it looks silly.
I haven't
seen a trailer for it.
Face for that. Well, what are your top 3, Ronald? And hopefully you actually give me 3.
Okay, of these that are here, John Wick. Obviously, we love the John Wick franchise, but we know what's going to happen. I really want to see Barbie. I think that from what I've heard, they do a really weird thing with it. I think Greta Gerwig's a good director. Margot Robbie has had a few movies that didn't perform well in a row, so hopefully she gets a back on the. She doesn't need another win, but you know what I mean. Get her streak of going back up. Killers of the Flower Moon. Excited to see that. Isn't that Scorsese and DiCaprio? Yeah, it's about serial killers.
I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see that. Oppenheimer, I would be excited to see, but because Tyler's excited for it, I hope that they delay it until like 2027 just to spite Tyler. Little Mermaid, I could take it or leave it. Super Mario Brothers, we talked about this. It's a little disappointing that Chris Pratt's voice still hasn't grown on me, but I'm sure it'll be cute. I'll take my nephew to see it. Indiana Jones, I trust James Mangold, but I'll wait till other people see it. I'm not going to go see it day one because I want to hear that it's good before I go because we all saw Crystal Skull. And then the Expendables 4, it's crazy that they're still making those. I did love Expendables 1. Me and Josh Logan and Steven Eaton sit on the couch and watch that and play Thin Lizzy's The Boys Are Backing Down while drinking warm Jack Daniels and smoking cigars until we're like, hey, all right, the house is going to smoke. We should go outside. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. The latest trailer was the first one that kind of got me a little excited for it. But I want to know, where's Michael Pena in these movies, man?
What?
Luis.
Ant-Man?
Yeah, his friend Luis. Where the fuck is he at? He was the best character of that movie. And they said, no, we'll take more time with Corey Stoll.
I bet he works his way in.
Hopefully. Give him
that was your top 3. You literally just read the whole list back to me.
Yeah.
Well,
what's your top 3?
I'd have to say, and I'll give mine in order. It's John Wick at number 3. Maybe because I literally just watched 2 and 3. I didn't watch the first one. The 2 and 3 in the last week. It's tough 1 and 2 for me because I can't really tell you what Oppenheimer is really about. But that is my number 1 because I'm a Nolanite and I'm a weirdo like that. You can't really. Of course, I've read the synopsis. I've read a few articles on it, but like, you didn't really get much from the trailer. It just looks like it's going to be amazing. And
Oppenheimer,
Christopher Nolan, yeah,
he set off a real nuke for this, dude.
I'm sure he did. But prior to this list, I was very excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp, mostly because I want to see how things start to connect. I want to see how all these series, these shows that we've been watching start to connect, how Shang-Chi, how Miss Marvel, how all the rings, all the stuff that we saw in Loki, how all that stuff starts to come together because we're kind of just, I feel like standing around with our hands up like, okay, like how does this all connect? Because that's what we expect from Marvel. And that's what I want to see. So I've been excited for it. I like Ant-Man, the character, and I'm surprised that I moved it down 1 spot.
Ooh.
Any surprises for you? In this list?
Yeah. I'm surprised that the hype for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is so high because it's like
who voted that?
I don't know. It's because, it's in the group of characters that have gone into public domain recently. Same with like the Grinch is fully in public domain. I don't know if it's recent or not, but they did a evil Grinch movie the past year, or it's coming out too, where it's called The Mean One, where he's going around killing people instead of just stealing Christmas. He murders all of Whoville. It's like, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm sure it'd probably be fun and campy, but there's no way it's going to be like good. No disrespect. I mean, it's just of these giant releases, that one's like a very small independent horror movie. So that's weird that that's up there. And then the Ant-Man hype, I'm a little surprised that people are still on board with as much for it to be top 10, only because, I think the like the common opinion about phase 4 so far is that it's been pretty all over the place, to say the least. So I would have expected the hype to die down a bit from that. But yeah, those are my surprises.
Mine is only the Expendables. I didn't know people still watch those.
Yeah, that too. I agree.
I think that because I'm looking and I have pulled up as we're recording this, the honorable mentions. I can't tell you that because I haven't seen any of them. But honorable mentions, let's just get to that part because that's gonna be more exciting right now. Because I'm looking at it right now. I mean, Wonka, the Marvels, Shazam, Aquaman, Guardians 3.
Guardians 3 I'm way more excited about than Ant-Man.
Creed 3, like
Chris Reed.
Those are all things that I'm excited for.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Amazon Studios Pictures release, Cassandro.
We all should be. Ronald, would you like to give a plug for it?
I just did. Premiering at Sundance on Friday, January 20th at 4:50.
If anybody wants to know, Ronald is in that movie. He's legitimately in the movie. I'm not making it up. I'm not like joking about it. Ron makes a lot of stuff up in this podcast.
No, I don't.
Hopefully you know what is real and what isn't real. And he's legitimately in that movie.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be making my feature film debut. So we're going to go check it out. It'll be fun.
Big. One more thing that I got to say about, and this is a joke, but I saw this trailer for Missing because it's coming out this year. Do you know what I'm talking about? With like the girl's mom goes on like a trip with her boyfriend to some country, and she gets kidnapped, and then she tries to like save her, kind of thing.
Ooh,
and I'll say,
Taken?
Kind of. Taken? I was literally like thinking like, I feel like I've seen this movie before, but it's with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I just remember Arnold Schwarzenegger like kills everybody. So I'm going to be very interested to see how this teenage girl saves her mom, because she's not Arnold. And I mean, Arnold literally killed a country. Like he literally blew up the whole country.
That was a Commando, right?
No, he was like a firefighter in that movie. I'm trying to think of what it was.
I don't know. Oh, I'm excited for the new Ari Aster movie. He directed Hereditary. It's called Beau is Afraid. It stars Joaquin Phoenix. So you know the acting is going to be crazy. Ari Aster has a very meticulous and beautiful visual style and flair, and his movies are always really scary. So I'm excited for that.
Another promo break for you here. If you are a fan of the podcast, you know at the beginning of each episode, there is a promotion for Time to Train Fitness on YouTube that does online workouts that are free, 100% free on YouTube. What was just added was a 12-day workout series. So if you have dumbbells, if you have an indoor bike, you can follow this for 1 month to help you get back on track and work on your fitness. Check it out at the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe and make sure that you keep listening to the MovieBuffs Podcast.
A couple of other honorable mentions that I want to talk about is Tyler's favorite movie franchise, Fast 10. More like fasten your seatbelts, am I right, ladies and gentlemen? But no, legitimately, we're very excited for the new Mission Impossible. I mean, come on. How do they leave that off the list? Flash, that movie may exist, right? It might even come out. So that's crazy. Super excited for that. I think we mentioned Guardians 3. There was a couple others that you were talking about, right?
I did say Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How did we forget that? That movie's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well,
another character that I should play in real life is going to be Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. I'm just putting it out there. Let everybody know they have Oscar Isaac playing him for the voice in the movie Across the Spider-Verse, but Oscar Isaac is too old and he's already Moon Knight. So let me do it. That's all.
I didn't know that Kraven the Hunter's supposed to come out in October. We'll see if that actually does.
Oh my God. They should call it Morbius 2: Kraven the Hunter.
We should point out in this podcast that Ron has legitimately been saying it has to be for at least 3 years that he does not believe the Flash is going to come out.
And have I been right for the past 3 years for a movie that was scheduled for 2020? Yes. Have I not been right?
So the fact that one's on lists and that it's slated to come out, it's pretty funny.
It is hilarious to me that I've been making this joke since they first announced the first iteration of this podcast, where like they announced Cyborg and all that. I'm like, oh, we'll see if any of these movies exist. And then the fact that they really did start making them disappear, and they went as far as to cancel a movie they finished. It's like, dude, do I have a magic orb?
I got to throw one more in here because I talked about how much I loved it. Dune Part 2 is supposed to come out. I didn't know that.
Tune. That's what they should call it.
And I was a really big fan. That really changed my life, as some people might say, but it didn't change my life, but I really enjoyed it. I didn't know they were doing Hunger Games stuff again. But
Tyler has the Avatar blues, but for the Dune sand world. He just goes out into Arizona desert and cries.
I did say to my wife that I do want one of those suits, but that's just me. Anyways.
Play disc golf in it.
A lot of good stuff coming out this year. Surprise.
A lot of good stuff. All right. So that was a lot of work. I got to tell you, Tyler, I am sore. I am worn out. I think it's time to cool it down, buddy. How do we start our cool down?
We started with our WTF moment. And this episode, it's on me to talk about a WTF moment, something that maybe happened at the movies, maybe didn't happen in the movies. And I'm going to share one that was actually shared with me from a friend out here. I live out in Arizona, and there is a city close by to where I live that it's got some interesting peeps. It's not one of our big city, big areas that of people that listen to our podcast. And the reason why I can't talk right now is because Ronald is making very funny faces into the webcam. And but anyways, a post was shared with me from a buddy from this Facebook group from this town called Gilbert, Arizona. And there were
home of Gilbert Arenas.
There was an individual complaining about how their kindergartner child had to wear an ID card for when they were at school. And I wish I was making this up. As I'm saying this out loud, I wish I was making it up. They were complaining to this Facebook group that their child had to wear an ID card. That's a rip away, that they had to wear it for the whole day. Now, logical parents stated, well, schools use it to scan kids when they get on the bus. Okay, makes sense. Schools use it for their lunch card, their recess card for when they want to buy food. Yeah, makes sense to me. Schools use it for when maybe the kids get into a little tussle and they need to know the name and the information of the kid instead of saying, hey, you. School, that's how schools use it. It makes complete sense to me, but only in a place like Gilbert, Arizona, would this not make sense. Why is my kid having to wear an ID? Oh, it's because kids lose shit. They take stuff off. They leave it every imaginable place. I don't even have a kid, and I know this, that they leave shit everywhere. But you can't make too much sense in a place like Gilbert, Arizona. And the reason why I make fun of this city is because it ends up on random ass lists for best places to live. And I gotta tell you, it's probably the worst place to live. Terrible food, terrible people. And I highly recommend moving anywhere else in Arizona but Gilbert, Arizona.
Now, I just want to take a moment to say that I have no gripes with Gilbert, Arizona, or the Bible Belt, or anywhere in the entire world, because unlike Tyler, I'm not a little hate-filled little thought.
My Bible Belt theory was just a theory on why people see Avatar and the Blue Man Group.
I don't know, dude. I think blue is just a double D double da. All right, everybody. So
take us to
what's up next, T?
Our post-workout takeaway, since we both technically do work in the fitness industry and we do like to impart some type of knowledge in this area, with it being January 2023. What do you have to share with our audience?
All right, it's time for me to crack an egg of knowledge all over Tyler's face and mush it in like moisturizer. Okay, so this week's post-workout takeaway, starting the new year, we went over some strategies about how to break down your new year and get started right. One of the things I want to remind everyone of is that progress is not made today. It's not made next week. It's not even made the week after that. It is going to be the accrual of small little victories over the course of the year. So don't burn yourself out by saying, I'm going to run 9 miles every day. And then all of a sudden you got 2 bad knees and you can't run at all. And then in a year from now, you're worse off than you were today. Give yourself the grace and the leeway. Give yourself that, go 70% of as hard as you can, but do it every day. Do it every day of every week. And over time, you will be where you want to be. Whereas if you go too hard and you try to get it all done in one workout, one, you're not going to get anything out of it anyway. That's not how the body works. But two, you're going to fuck yourself up or fuck up something and you're never going to get there. It's going to be unsustainable. So give yourself the grace of time. Any goal you want, do the little steps, and 6 months of little steps will get you there, where 1 week of giant steps will not. I promise you. I love you all, and thank you. I got real sensual with the mic there. It was only because Tyler was leaning so close to the screen. It got anyway, everybody. So that is it for today's episode. Tyler, do you have anything you want to
add? Hopefully in the next episode, you don't make my list of cities that I hate and areas that I hate. The list is constantly expanding, so
it is.
Be nice to me.
He has a Google Doc and he just adds, every once in a while he put like Arlington. I'm like, where's Arlington? He's like, you know where it is. Oh shit. Okay. Is it Texas? Is it Nebraska? I don't know. Anyway, so thank you so much to everybody, every single one of our listener for coming out tonight and watching this. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here listening to us and we appreciate that. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow and share with friends. And turn on the notifications to never miss a new episode. We will be back next week when we finally figure out how does Tyler get his drawstring so even. I'm not talking about the ones on his sweaters, ladies, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, bye.